Example 3, sketch the graph of y equals 1 over x squared plus 1. So it's not breaking this down into different parts, but we still can think of all of our strategies. I want to make sure I plot x squared plus 1 first. So what was this before? It was a reciprocal function. So I'm going to graph y equals x squared plus 1. Now I don't need to graph, like this wasn't asked for in the question, but I need to show it in my work. So I'm just going to use pencil. I'm going to leave it there still and label it. But I'm going to put that in there. I guess I put my scale in first, so 1 and 1. I'll put that in pen. So this is a parabola shifted up 1. It's already ready to go. So there's that. I don't need to complete the square. Over 1, up 1. Over 2, up 4. And we've kind of run out of room, so that should be enough. Okay, so this is going to be y equals x squared plus 1. I'm leaving it there, so I'm going to label that in pencil. Now, I'm going to follow all my rules. X-intercepts become vertical asymptotes. There are no x-intercepts, so there is no vertical asymptotes. And that's because there's no NPVs. The reason there's no NPVs is no matter what, when you go to plug in an x value, when you square it, you're always going to get a positive number. Adding it to 1, you're always going to get a positive answer. So even 0 squared plus 1 is 1. Negative 1 squared is positive 1 plus 1. If you tried to solve for the denominator, you'd get x squared equals negative 1, which means you cannot go further. So you're not going to be able to solve for that. So that's what happens here. So we have no vertical asymptotes. You're still going to have your y equals 0 asymptote there. So your graph will still approach the x-axis. Okay, then I'm going to apply all my rules. The invariant points are where y equals 1 and negative 1. I don't have any points at negative 1, but I have this point here. So y equals 1 is a key point. Take the reciprocal of all the y values otherwise. So 2 becomes 1/2. So 2 becomes 1/2. 4 becomes 1/4. 4 becomes 1/4. If you would to extend this, 9 would become 1/9, etc. So this is actually going to continue along. And this is a curve, so it's just a bump along there. So it's not a sharp V point, it's still a smooth curve. So that is your graph of y equals 1 over x squared plus 1. So it's a different looking shape because it's not a parabola that was below the x-axis that you started with. So it's looking a little bit different as it's going to do that. So if you apply those rules all the time about the steps, the shapes may change a little bit. We're sticking to linear and quadratic equations, so you won't see too much variation, but you will when you learn more about reciprocal graphs down the road.